Well, good afternoon or good evening, wherever you're at. Steve Pynakker here of Mormon Book Reviews. We're in Evangelical Encounters the Restoration. And I just wanted to update the audience on a few things that happened over the course of the last few days. First of all, I'm supposed to be in Utah right now. But unfortunately, I'm making sure my microphone's up here. Can everybody hear me fine? Those of you in the chat, I just want to make sure the sound's good here. I just wanted to. I'm sorry, I don't like this camera angle. I apologize. Okay, let me see if I can make this work a little better. Okay. Either way, let me know if you can hear me okay in the chat. Okay, so basically this weekend, today I was supposed to be in Utah. And I had a health condition that happened. So for the last couple of weeks, I've been suffering from tinnitus. The tinnitus is ringing in the ears. Now, I do suffer from tinnitus now and then, but I haven't really had a bout with it for like 2 years. Well, it flared up partly because I had a blockage in my ear that was full of wax. And so we went to urgent care and had them remove the earwax. And there was a considerable amount of earwax impacted in my ear. And the pressure is off my ear. Fly in a plane if you have a condition with your ears, because it could put too much pressure on your ears. Plus, I have earwax build up in the other ear. But I have to tell you, I have this phobia about people putting things in my ears, and it literally took like a half hour on Saturday for them to do it. I had to get them to stop. If there was a camera in the room, you'd think I was being tortured. So that's kind of what happened on Saturday. But what was so weird about it was, so basically, tomorrow's, just so to be clear, tomorrow's meetup at Crown Burgers tomorrow from 6:30 to 8:30 has been canceled. I talked with Rebecca and Summer Rain about maybe still doing it, my two co-hosts, but that won't work out under the circumstances. So there won't be a meetup. I contacted Rod Meldrum's people yesterday to tell them that I'm canceling. I can't go. So I will not be speaking this Thursday night at the Firm Foundation Book of Mormon Expo conference. And I was the primetime keynote speaker, and I was really excited about it. And unfortunately, just things happen, life happens, and it's okay. I just want people to keep me in your prayers, because this isn't fun. I am suffering. It's better than it was, but it's not good enough to function. And so I'm going to be kind of taking some time off. I'm going to focus on my health. I'm going to be resting a lot. I'm going to be not exposing myself to loud noises. And so that's the deal with that. So Saturday, my mom had mentioned the night before about maybe me going to urgent care and getting my ear flushed out. And so as I'm sitting on the lanai, yes, I live in Florida, so we have lanais. I'm sitting on the lanai, and I'm for whatever reason, I have this video of David Boice that I've been holding on to for a very long time. That I had originally released on my main YouTube channel, Mormon Book Reviews, but then I was just like, oh, I want to I made a thumbnail and everything for that to be released on my Utah Interfaith forum channel, and never got around to releasing it. So it was just kind of a weird story where, for whatever reason, I was going to write, because David, like before, I would have said like Protestant visits LDS temples or something like that. That would have been in the title. But then David had told me about a month ago that he no longer considers himself even a Protestant. So I was like, oh, okay. And I can understand his reasoning why he didn't want to use the term Protestant anymore. So then I was going to write Outsider talks about LDS temples. But then I said, no, Outsider doesn't sound right. So I just said David Boice talks about. What was so weird is that, one, I didn't wake up that morning thinking I was going to post anything about that on my UIF channel. But it was right at the time that David was being baptized into the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints that I posted the video on that channel. And it was crazy because that video's got over 4,000 views. For a channel with only 300 subscribers, that's pretty wild to have that. And so it was just kind of weird to all that have happened, because it was later that night, because the video itself wasn't doing anything. It's a YouTube channel with 300 subscribers. You're not going to expect to get a lot of views. But then I get people commenting on the video saying David Boice was baptized into the church. I'm like, what's going on here? And the next thing you know, the video takes off on the Utah Interfaith Forum YouTube channel. So I text David. I'm like, David, did you get baptized into the church? And he didn't get back to me until the next morning. So I get up the next morning, and on my phone it says response, check out Instagram. So he had publicly the night before announced publicly, just so everybody knows, it was publicly announced by David Boice on Saturday that he joined the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. So I went ahead and said, okay, I'm going to say something on my Facebook channel, on my Facebook page. And I didn't realize that David hadn't posted anything on Facebook. So some people went after, oh, you shouldn't be talking about him. And I'm like, no, it's all clear. It's already public. It's weird. It's weird. Like David and myself and others, we are public people, which means when we do something, it's a news story. So that means so we're going to talk about it. I mean, I don't understand anybody who would criticize me for talking about David Boice. First of all, he's a friend. Second of all, I cleared it with him twice. I cleared it with him on Sunday, and I just cleared it with him a half hour before I dropped. I said, are you okay with me talking about you? He said, absolutely, no problem. So for people who decide they're going to make this their pet cause on David's behalf, David doesn't need your help. David's perfectly fine. David is a public person and a friend, and I want to talk about that. First, I want to just make sure I look at the comments here. Dude, work on your focus. Yeah, they would soon find why 7%. Okay. And then send prayers for you too. Okay. So first of all, I want to thank everybody for all the kind words that have been sent to me since I announced on my Facebook page that I was not doing well. Thank you very much for your thoughts and prayers. It means a lot. And I know who my friends are. One of them being Radio Free Mormon, who was just texting me, checking on me, seeing how I'm doing. And he's all the way in England. And he's busy packing from his trip. I think it's okay. Yeah, I think it's okay. I said he's in England because he's publicly, we got to be careful. No, yeah, he's publicly gone out and said he's in England, so I can say that, okay? But it was just really nice of him to reach out to me in his busy schedule, 6-hour time difference, and just checking in on me. And I thought that was really a class act on his part. So I just want to thank RFM, Radio Free Mormon, for being a friend who, whenever I've gone through things, he's always been one of the first people to reach out to me and see how I'm doing. And I really feel like in many ways, I find out a lot of who my real friends are during my time of needs, who are there and have my back when I'm at my low points. So thanks, RFM, for your encouraging words. Yeah, this I know this Radio Free Mormon guy says, what a nice guy RFM is. I know he's a real class act. Yeah, absolutely. So basically, I just wanted to talk a little bit about my friend David. Yeah, but my mother always told me not to worry about what other people think about you. Do what you want to do is right. That's right. Yeah, I won't go to other podcasters and tell them how to do their programs. That's just not what I do. And everybody does their own, how they want to handle it. That's fine with me. I'm not, if somebody wants to ask me advice, that's fine. I'll give advice to them. But to me, everybody's got their own place. They're doing their own thing. I respect everybody else's game. However you're going to do your program, that's you. I think that's Rebecca Biblioteca. You got me almost speaking in tongues there. RFM is the best. David is somewhat introverted, and I understand his not making his very personal experiences mega public. Now he's got to get used to all the hugging. Yeah, that's right. So I did want to tell you that David has taped something that he's going to be posting on his channel. So look for that. I had a really good conversation with him on the phone. He's still processing a lot of what's going on. David is first and foremost a friend. David came on my channel like a year and a half ago when he was a much smaller channel than he is now. He had just kind of walked in the doors of a Latter-day Saint church, not really knowing anything about it, and produced a couple of videos. And I reached out to him and then kind of brought him into this world. And so David got to be known by a lot of people in our circles. And David got invited last year to speak at the Book of Mormon rally that I spoke at with him at Independence, Missouri. And so this Saturday, he is going to be speaking at the Book of Mormon rally in Independence, Missouri, the one I was originally also supposed to speak at. So he'll still be going. So make sure you first of all, give David a big hug. Tell him how much we appreciate him. I have to tell you that I feel melancholy about David because he's on his faith journey, right? And he made a decision to get baptized into the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And I always tell people, you just got to respect people where they're at on their faith journey, whether it's atheism, Christianity, agnostic, Eastern religions, whatever it is. Everybody's on a faith journey. And the worst thing you can do is attack somebody who's on a faith journey. Because when you attack somebody who's on a faith journey, guess what? Especially if you're a believer, that person on that faith journey probably isn't going to end up where you're at. You repel them away from your faith tradition when you attack somebody when they're on a faith journey. So keep that in mind, the haters out there who hate on people like David. Um, and this honestly, David converting to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is as much of an indictment of American Christianity more than anything. David, over the course of a 9-year period, essentially, if you count the time when he first wrote his book or started writing his book, and visited 52 churches in 52 weeks to write his book, and then would later revisit this whole concept again by doing 52 churches in 52 weeks for his YouTube channel, visited over 100 churches. Many of them were evangelical, Reformed, Baptist, Charismatic, Pentecostal, mainline evangelical like Moody Bible Institute. You name it. He's been to all the different mainline, all the different Protestant as well as evangelical churches. And he couldn't find a single church that made him feel at home and that would provide the community for him that apparently the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints does for him. And so I just want to let people know that, I've done some soul searching, like about it. Like, I get why David did it. I understand why he converted to the church, because I see the nonsense that's happening in the evangelical world, and I get it. And I also see the hatred and the bigotry and the intolerance towards people of different religions, people of LGBTQ backgrounds. It's like, it's so toxic, and last week I got such tremendous responses from my pastor's appearance where my pastor interviewed me, and we posted on my channel last week. Overwhelmingly positive. Hearing from evangelicals, even pastors who said, "Amen, Steve, man, you're right. We really appreciate you kind of calling out the evangelical church for the excesses that it has." And so, yeah, I did do that. Let's see. We're so sorry you're not having it at the meetup. Number one, I love grilled ham and cheese sandwiches at Crown Burger. And number two, I'll miss you. Thanks, Rebecca. Dana says the 52 weeks guy is the one that joined. I hope it was for the right reasons, not for YouTube fan. No, not for no. Okay, so yeah, no, I want to make it really clear. David is a person who's on a genuine faith journey for a very long time. He was excommunicated from his Protestant church when he was younger, and that set him forth on a journey to try to find a church. And you can watch his catalog. You can read his book, and you can see that this is a true seeker looking for a place. And for whatever reason, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints was the church that he found that he was at peace with. And so we have to respect that where he's at. And so people started attacking me when I posted on Facebook. People attacked David. And you know what? I let those comments, even if it's in my own private group. I have a private group, and there's people attacking me in my own private group. Now, these people have private groups, and I guarantee you, if somebody were to do that to them, they would block them from the group. But I honestly want people to see. I want people to see the hatred and the bigotry that are directed towards people like myself and David. I want that to be public record. I want the evangelicals out there who feel that I'm fair game to attack and make fun of and be cruel to. The Mormons are watching you. The Latter-day Saints are watching you. And they see that, and they're like, if I were to ever leave my church, I certainly wouldn't join theirs. So this self-reflection that I'm having, I call on all evangelicals and Protestants, especially, and even Catholics and Orthodox, because he visited those churches too, for a moment of self-reflection. Why would somebody like David decide to leave the Protestant fold and become a member of the Restoration? I think it's a question we all should ponder and ask. It's a legit question. Okay. Let's see. Can't believe this. I'm just going through here. I want to keep up with the comments because I'm getting a lot of comments. David's very genuine. Who gets excommunicated in Protestantism and for what? People don't get excommunicated as much as they did in the past. My parents attended the Christian Reformed Church, and it was not on the excommunications growing up in the CRC in the 40s and 50s was much more common than it is now. I think excommunication has become something of it's almost an anachronism now, or something that should just be left in the past. I don't think that excommunication is a wise thing in today's modern society. And I would hope that all churches that have that tool just quit using it. as long as, okay, I'm watching cautiously because I hear building bridges. I feel that afraid that what's really being said is building off ramps. Does it make you uncomfortable that he choose to join the church? Nathan, no. As a matter of fact, I totally understand why David Boice would become a Latter-day Saint. I get it. Yep, they attack us. It's terrible. Right? You guys all lose. Mormonism wins. So it's just, I just want to let you know that I wanted to hop on today and talk about this. First of all, why I'm not going. Keep me in your prayers because the tinnitus really is bothering me. Like it's ringing in my ears right now. Okay. So I can't talk too long, but I also know that for my mental health, one of the best things I can do is just turn on the microphone and start talking. It's my own talk sessions, my own therapy sessions, which I need sometimes. And look, I'm not perfect. And I don't like it when people slam me for every time I make the smallest mistake. It's like, man, show some grace. I mean, I'm suffering here. Richard says he's the newest David Alexander. No, I think David's different than David Alexander. There's a difference there, I'd say, in that. And but I'm not going to be critical because you know what? Everybody's on a faith journey. David Alexander's on a faith journey. I've talked with David Alexander when he first got started on a private Zoom. So David's aware of me, and of course he's grown quite a bit himself, and a lot of people appreciate what he's doing. So David Alexander speaks to certain people within the restoration that his message resonates with them. I think that the nice thing I like about David Boice is that he's very much opposed to the idea of tearing down other people's faith to enhance his own. And I think that David sees that, unfortunately, we see a lot of people in the evangelical world tear down other people's faith so that they could build their own. And what they're really doing is causing people to just walk away. And David's going to talk about this in his video, but there was a particular evangelical who posted a video bashing Mormonism. And that kind of did it for him. He says, I don't know if I want to be part of this anymore. And so that's food for thought. Why is it? Why is it that people are leaving the evangelical church in droves? Why is that happening? Well, I think there's a lot to be said to a lot of the corruption that's happened in the evangelical world. I also think that a lot of the stuff that's being taught from the pulpit is just garbage, self-help stuff. I tell people, I left evangelicalism because I said, heck, I could just turn on Oprah and get more out of Oprah than I'm getting out of these churches. That's the reality. So, but I'm glad I found my church in Sarasota, the Harvest, because that's a man of integrity, Pastor Dan Miner. And we see eye to eye on so many things about the state of affairs in our church. It's a mess. Let's see. Will David move to Utah? That's a great question. Yeah, so somebody mentioned they liked Reform Judaism as their most appealing religion. Yeah, there's something about Judaism that resonates with me too. Okay, so Tyler says, I've been interested in creating an interfaith community group, channel, etc. for several years now, and it just came to my mind that would be a good person to talk to about that. So Tyler, just so you know, I have the Facebook group, Utah Interfaith Forum, and I also have the new YouTube channel called Utah Interfaith Forum. So I'm already kind of doing that. But Tyler, yeah, you can reach out to me because if you want to try to do something similar, the more interfaithing, the better. So yeah, I contacted David right before. I was like, dude, it's okay if I talk about you. And he's like, perfectly fine. No big deal. Because again, it would be like me doing an episode talking about any number of people, whether it's, John DeLynn or Radio Free Mormon or you name them. I've done that myself. I've talked about other people on my channel. I don't see there being a problem there. Yes, it's true that David Alexander has moved to Idaho. That's a matter of public record. Somebody's just asking that. Now we got a lot of people commenting. Just really quick. I'm going to stick around for a little bit yet. And there's a few more things I want to say. But for those of you who'd like to make a donation, feel free to do so. If you want to get a shout out in the super chat, it's always great when people do support us. It makes a big difference. You can give $5, $10, $15, $20 to a YouTuber with hundreds of thousands of subscribers. And they probably won't even remember that you gave. But when you give a donation to a small channel like that, it's always appreciated. I don't have, yeah, and Richard says, hit like and subscribe. Hit like and subscribe. And also, folks, I want to tell you, go to Utah Interfaith Forum YouTube channel after this and subscribe to that channel too. We're in the process of, we've done some great interviews with rabbis, with Catholics, with Jews, and all different types of people have been on the program. It's fantastic. Evangelicals. And we haven't released our first episodes yet, but I'm really excited about the Utah Interfaith Forum as being another platform to build bridges and everything like that. Just making sure, where do we go to support? So if you want to support me financially, in the description, there are links to support us on Venmo, on PayPal, as well as on Venmo, PayPal, as well as, there's another one, but my mind, I'm just kind of, China Clay, $9.99. Thank you so much, China Clay. And also, if you want to donate here in the chat, you can do that as well. So China Clay, thank you so much for donating $9.99. Also, I just wanted to say that, in the last a month and a half or so, the channel has exploded in many ways. We're getting a lot of people that are watching the program. We've had a lot of growth in the program. Over a month ago, we got our millionth view. And that was a big thing because it was not done by showing a lot of shorts. We got 1 million views legitimately by doing long form stuff. A lot of people get these 1 million views, but they're getting them all in shorts, and shorts is empty calories as far as I'm concerned. But we legitimately got 1 million views doing long form on this channel, and I'm very proud of that. We also have reached other, we're closing, I want to get to 10,000 subscribers in the next month or two. So if you're not subscribed to the channel, let's get us to 10,000 subscribers as well. But we broke 4 news stories this year so far, but ever since the beginning of this channel, almost from the very beginning, we were breaking news stories. So that's really been the privileged place we've been able. It's affected the scholarly community. It's affected the podcast community. It's also, affected just the church culture in general. I mean, I have many people in the local ward here watch my program, and there are probably some here in watching right now. And so we're having, it's a really privileged place to be. That 3 years ago, a little over 3 years ago, we started this channel, and I didn't know a single Latter-day Saint. And now we've broken, just this year alone, 4 news stories. And then I just think of last winter, we broke the story about the Mormon cave that was for sale. I mean, just think of all the different news stories. Remember, before anybody else was doing the church finances made it a major story in 2022. Everybody's following that story in 2023. Rebecca and I got Nigel on, the whistleblower, doing church finances in Canada. So whenever people say like, "Oh, Steve, you've changed, or you're doing different and you're chasing after clicks," it's like, no, look at my history and you'll see that almost from the very beginning, we've been doing exactly what we've been doing. Nothing has changed on this channel. It's always the basic principles of this channel have always been there. I think what's happened is that because this has become the place where the top scholars want to come and talk to, where the people want to break the news, they come to us here at MBR. When those gold plates story came out, I reached out to Dan McClellan, within 5 minutes had him booked. Okay. That shows that we as a channel are the channel that people pay attention to, both in the scholarly circles, both in the lay circles. And people say, "Oh, you're doing all this kind of stuff." And listen, this is the key thing. Restoration Mormon history is amazingly interesting, and I want to make it as accessible as I can to a lay audience as possible. So if I do thumbnails that are clickbaity or whatever, it's because I want people to watch the episodes. I want to make it appeal to a large, broad audience. I think that's really important to do that. So that's what we're doing. I'm just going through here. What aspects of our faith and doctrine do you think appeal to David? I think that I think in big things, well, first of all, David appreciates a lot of things in the Book of Mormon. I know he references it. I also just think, honestly, it's just the culture and the people, I think that's really the big thing. With charity.org gave $20. We would like to do a youth interfaith discussion. Can I contact you about that? Yeah, absolutely. So let me hit the like button, and let me tell everybody, I'm going to type in the chat my email address, which is mormonbookreviews@gmail.com. But I'm going to type it in the book reviews at gmail mail.com. Mormon Book Reviews at gmail.com. Okay, so that's my email. So if anybody wants to reach out to me, that's where I'm at. So thank you with charity.org for $20. Really appreciate the super chat donation. Big hugs, praying for you. Thank you. Yeah, someone says nothing wrong with sizzle as long as you got the steak. Yeah, you think about the big steaks that we fried here on this channel. I mean, just pound for pound. What, I'll put us up with anybody. Pound for pound, we're not the biggest, but in that lightweight flyweight category, you don't want to mess with MBR in the ring. and yeah, it's become a very influential space. As a matter of fact, I had one of the big dogs go to me a couple weeks ago and say, Steve, he said, you are one of the most influential podcasts in this space. And that was from one of the big dogs who recognizes the work that we're doing. And that's really important, that we're doing that. So if all goes according to plan, hopefully in June, I'll be giving a presentation at the Mormon History Association. It's actually part of a panel discussion with other podcasters talking about Mormon history. And then China Clay, I agree, Steve, thank you. And then in July, I'll be roughing the game between the polygamists, the kickball game at Sunstone between the polygamists and the Exmos, which is always a tremendous event, one of the big highlights of the summer in Mormondom. And so that's always a fun adventure that we get to do. And then September, if all goes according to plan, I'll be attending the John Whitmer Historical Association in St. George, Utah in September. So I just want to go scroll through here. Everybody, first of all, China Clay, $9.99. With charity.org, $20. Thank you. So that's brought in $30 today, which is great. That's like $1 a minute. Man, if I could average that all the time, that'd be great. I wish you well, Steve. You are such a kind, caring man. Please get well. Thank you. Thank you so much. I want to say that, as many of you know my story, my lifelong depression that I suffered, and that how when I did my 5-part episode on Mormon stories, I actually did an episode called How Mormonism Saved an Evangelical's Life on Mormon stories. I always tell people, I said, if you don't believe in God, if you're looking for evidence of God, imagine a gay evangelical Christian going on Mormon stories and talking about how Mormonism saved his life. And to me, that's just a story in and of itself, right? But, I tell people, I said, one of the things that kind of helped me with this little channel, with this little bookshelf right here, that tiny little bookshelf. At the time, I thought I had this huge collection of books until I started talking to people that had even bigger ones in the back. And I just thought, maybe if I can have this YouTube channel with 200, 300 subscribers, and I'll just review books and just become a niche channel. That's all I ever intended this to become. Never in a million years would I imagined that it has become what it has become. And I don't know, to me, it just doesn't make sense. Like a Mormon scholar went to me and said, if you were a fictional character, I couldn't write you because you're too unbelievable of a character. Like you couldn't, that's what's crazy about this. And yeah, I'd add you to the temple prayer list if no one has yet. So, well, first of all, Ellen, I think you are the individual that I think might even be local. I'm not sure, but I think we've had some communication with each other and met. But I know some people have told me that they've added my name to the temple prayer list. I say the more the merrier myself. It's not the first time that Latter-day Saints have done that for me. And so, yeah, it's always greatly appreciated. So I've been going on 30 minutes here. Just really quick, I'm going to just kind of tell everybody real quick what happened here. And again, if you'd like to make a donation and get a shout out, it's always greatly appreciated. Definitely not if the church offered you $5 million to stop podcasting tomorrow, would you take it? No, I wouldn't. I'm having way too much fun. I tell people, I said, I drive a 15-year-old car, live in a 50-year-old mobile home with my mom. I got 2 or 3 pairs of jeans to my name, and I buy most of my shirts and clothes at the thrift store. Of course, I have to have my Joseph Smith for President shirt that I bought at the Red Brick store a couple years ago. This is one of my favorites. But the reality is I'm not in this for the money at all. I'm not making a huge amount of money here, and I've probably left a lot of money on the table because I don't want to make this about making money. And so, best answer ever. Thank you, Richard. And so, look, I'm doing this. I tell people, I said, I'm doing this channel for an audience of one. I'm doing it for me. I'm producing the content that I would want to watch. And then anybody wants to come and join along for the ride, the more the merrier. And so I'm creating the channel that I would want to watch. And part of the reason why I started the channel that I did was because nobody else was doing what I wanted to do. And which is, I get so sick and tired of the partisanship out there across the board. And I really feel it's important that we have a safe space where people of good faith can come and have civil conversations. People who you disagree with or agree with, it's all there here. And that puts us in a very unique spot. And I'm very grateful for that. Janine says, Alan Davis, I already have, but I was going to suggest that every LDS on this chat do the same thing. So he says, as many temple prayer lists as possible. A little bit of money will help sustain what you are doing and what we need. Yes, it always does help. I mean, really, honestly, I use the monies to, also help pay for trips. I use it just for even like little things, like to pay for my haircuts, right? Just little things, and I do use it to pay for some of my clothes because I wear it on my channel, but it's a very, we have a very Spartan budget here. It's nothing fancy. If you saw the amount of money that we're bringing in, you'd be like, I don't know how you do it, Steve. And I sometimes wonder too. But just so you know, this is not about money, and this is about having a community of people. And what I love is that I have in this chat, if anybody hops on this live chat or you watch it being replayed when it's fully processed, this is a chat full of ex-Mormons, atheists, faithful Latter-day Saints, LGBTQ people. There's so many different people that are talking, and we can talk, and we can communicate with each other. We can show that it's possible. What's possible, rather than all this garbage where we're attacking each other all the time. That's what really bothers me more than anything. It's these so-called evangelical Christians and apologists who will attack and attack and attack and attack me. And Mormons see that. They're watching you guys. Don't you get it? If they see what they're doing to one of their own, oh my gosh, I'm sitting there like, man, no wonder these Latter-day Saints aren't joining the evangelical church if they want to maybe continue their faith journey outside of the restoration. They're just looking right past us. Many are just going to atheism, which I totally get them. So we're all run, shoot, ski. $1.99. Thank you so much for the monies. I really appreciate it. Is YouTube your full-time gig? De facto has, time-wise. I do still do odd jobs and work around the park because my mom is the HOA president here at the mobile home park. So I do bring in a little bit of extra money that way, which is what I was doing before. But I'm investing my time into building a channel that eventually I hope that will be fully sustainable, that would be able to support me. And it just takes time, and it takes work. I've enjoyed your channel. I am returning back to my LDS faith after many years away. God is good, and the light of Christ is with you, Steve. Thank you for your respect to our faith. Yeah, so thank you. Richard says, a never mow here. That's right. We've talked before, Richard. You're an interesting guy yourself. So you have all these different people. Here says, Canadian Anglican. I'm Anglican, but love your channel. I love Mormons. That's from an Anglican. Isn't that beautiful? I mean, it's just awesome. And there's somebody here who's a baptized Catholic. Now they're not affiliated with anybody, but they love to talk about God. Let's see. I'm just going through here, making sure. Steve, somebody's asking me, Stephen, do you really think you're intellectually honest? Well, I don't even know what the basis of that question is. I mean, I'm literally somebody who is having conversations with people both in and out of the restoration, some of the top-notch historians, some of the most interesting people there are. I don't know what that even means, what that question even, where that's even coming from, what space. No, you and I've had conversations, or we've had correspondence in the past. So maybe if you want to clarify that, or email me even afterwards and let me know where that's coming from. So either way, I just wanted to tell everybody that I won't be in Utah. The meetup is canceled for tomorrow. I won't be speaking Thursday at the Firm Foundation Book of Mormon Expo. I will not be speaking the at the Book of Mormon rally on Saturday. Now, the Book of Mormon Symposium is this Friday and Saturday in Independence, Missouri. It's 2 nights. It goes from 7 to 9 both nights. And David Boice is going to be in town, and he's going to be speaking at the Saturday night session, the one that I was originally going to speak with him at as well. He will still be there. David Boice of 52 Churches will be speaking there. For those of you who are members of the Restoration, you probably want to give him a nice welcome into the Restoration. He's a bit of an introvert, but David, I know you're going to do just fine. I really do appreciate and love you so much, my brother. And oh, wow, Janine. Oh, thank you so much. $20. This is great. Thank you, Janine, for this is your first super on a live stream. So thank you. Appreciate it. Let's see. I was raised non-denominational Christian until I became an atheist for several years, then returned to faith in Christ, and a few years later joined the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Huh. Okay. Interesting. See, isn't it interesting, the different stories? You know, I wouldn't have guessed when I first met David Boice that he would become a member of the church, but it happened. It doesn't surprise me now, in retrospect. So just stay tuned. Make sure you're subscribed to 52 Churches in 52 Weeks, because he will be posting something soon on his channel, kind of discussing his feelings about everything that happened. And he's still processing things. So keep David in your prayers. Oh, Gustavo just joined. Hey, how you doing? Good to see you, my friend. He's got a great YouTube channel for Spanish language speakers. And so a reminder, make sure you subscribe. Let's get more people subscribed to MormonBookReviews.com or Mormon Book Reviews on YouTube. Let's get more people subscribed to the Utah Interfaith Forum on YouTube. Let's continue just building this great conversation, this great platform that we're building together. Listen, I will tell you, I'm going to make mistakes, and I'm always open for correction. And sometimes I will push back on correction too. So that's just that's if I don't feel it's merited, but I'm always open to it. Your attitude is exactly what a Christian should have. So I pray the Anglican Church of Canada and the LDS Church can eventually work together. Oh yeah. So talk David into coming to the Lakewood Ranch ward, and I'll definitely be there. Yeah, you share the same building with your ward. First David, Stephen is next, and then the final boss, Pastor Jeff Runsky. Oh, that's the Trinity, if you will, of evangelicals. You want us all three to convert. Well, first of all, I just want to thank you that for Latter-day Saints who would like for me to be members of their church. I know they do that out of love, and that they just want to be part of me to be part of their team, and totally get that. But I also am a Protestant. I am an evangelical Christian. And that's part of my tradition and heritage. I come from a long line of reformed reformers on both sides, and it's part of our family lineage, and it's really important. So either way, I should probably stop talking. I need to keep my talking to a minimum, because but I also know that it's important that I am able to turn on this microphone and have this space to do this. And again, thank you everybody for the super chats. Always love hearing from you from the chats, and I love the super chats. Those of you who donated, really, it really does help immensely with the channel. I want to thank everybody who has been supportive of me while I've been suffering through my tinnitus. Keep me in your prayers. I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemies. There is a slight improvement. I feel like every day it's getting a little better, so that's encouraging. And again, it does mean a lot. So this is the thing, is we've built a community, and I want to continue hearing your voices. Thanks for doing this live stream and breaking news. Thank you, Nathan. Yeah, and we're going to continue breaking news stories, folks. I'm working on a lot of different leads. I'm going to probably slow down my pace a little bit, so maybe not releasing as much stuff. There are some weeks where I'll release 6 things, probably keep it around 3, which is normal. And we're going to keep on producing content. We're going to keep on releasing stuff. We're going to keep on breaking the news here at Mormon Book Reviews. And somebody just sent me $20. It looks like they sent me that on Oh yeah, that sent me that on Venmo. So if you want to donate to Venmo or PayPal, you can donate there or do the super chat. Again, not doing this for the money, but I know Tom. So Tom gave me $20. Thank you very much for the donation. Really appreciate it. And he used Venmo. Okay, well, I think that's about it. My mom has to hop off the internet whenever I'm live streaming, so we make sure we have a good signal here. I want to thank all of you for taking the time to hop on today, and I do appreciate you all immensely. And let's keep David Boice in our prayers. Keep me in your prayers, please. And I'll be praying for all of you. And just remember, the most important thing is this: all the voices of the restoration will be heard here on Mormon Book Reviews.